Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay, a librarian at the Columbus State Library, and this is part 2 of a tutorial about the Ohio Writing Manual, the official guide to citation, style, and judicial opinion writing. Part 1 covered citation formats for Ohio court cases, statutes, and other legal materials. Part 2 will provide examples of the proper citation format for citing out-of-state cases, out-of-state statutes, federal court decisions, federal statutes, and federal regulations, as well as a number of secondary legal sources. For more detailed information about the contents and purpose of the Ohio Writing Manual, see Part 1 of this tutorial. So as I previously explained, state and federal court decisions are chronologically compiled in volumes called court reporters. State reporters contain cases only for a specific state. Federal reporters, which include U.S. Supreme Court reports, Federal Reporter, and Federal Supplement, contain U.S. Supreme Court cases, U.S. appellate level cases, and U.S. trial level cases, respectively. So following are some examples of the Ohio Writing Manual's recommended citation format for selected legal materials. And you should note, if a recommended format is different for any of the following categories before and after May 1st, 2001, this fact will be noted. So, in citations of out-of-state court cases that are print-published, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The name of the case in italics followed by a comma, the official citation if one is available, the unofficial citation if one is available, the year of decision within parentheses, as follows. If the case is officially reported, only the year will appear in parentheses. If the case has no official reporter, the name of the state appears before the year if the case is from the state's highest court. And then the name of the state appears followed by the word APP if the case is from an appellate court. So for more information on how to cite out-of-state print-published court cases, go to page 26, section 1.5a of the Ohio Writing Manual. So here's a citation example of an out-of-state print-published court case, and you'll see I've done a layout so you can see the year and the volume number and the page, so you can kind of look at that citation and understand what it means. But what this citation is saying to you is find this 1959 case on page 17 of volume 9 of the second series of Utah's Reporter, the Utah Second. You may also find the case on page 59 of volume 337 of the Regional Reporter, Pacific Second. Okay. For out-of-state court cases that are not print-published, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The case name in italics followed by a comma, the court of decision, the case number, and you can see on the screen it says written as NO period, an electric database citation if available preceded by a comma, the date of decision in the month, day, year order. For more information on how to cite out-of-state, non-print published court cases, look at page 28, section 1.5b of the Ohio Writing Manual. So, here's our example of the out-of-state, non-print published opinion. And what this citation is telling you is this February 27, 2008 case assigned the case number 1-06-3026 by the Illinois Appellate Court has a Westlaw number of 527059, and then for finding purposes, that's the database link for the case. Okay. So this is for out-of-state statutes before May 1st, 2002. And when citing out-of-state statutes, there's this little table on the screen where you use the following abbreviations. So for statutes, you use STAT period. For revised, make sure to use REV period. For annotated, ANN period. And for compiled, COMP period. And you should note chapter, code, and title are not abbreviated. And then for more information on how to cite out-of-state statutes, you can visit page 44, section 3.4 of the Ohio Writing Manual. So, here is an out-of-state statute citation before May 1st, 2002. And what this citation is saying is you can find this statute at section 47.07.073 of Alaska Statutes. And you can see in the citation, like I mentioned, statute is abbreviated STAT period. And then for another example, out-of-state annotated statute before May 1st, 2002. This is an example of a civil code citation, and you can see we used, it has revised abbreviated, statute abbreviated, and annotated abbreviated in there. This is a citation for an out-of-state civil code before May 1st, 2002. And you can find this statute at section 1785.30 of the California Civil Code, which constitutes a portion of the official California Code. And then this is an out-of-state penal code citation before May 1st, 2002. And you can find this statute at section 1103A of the California Penal Code, which again constitutes a portion of the official California Code. Now we're looking at out-of-state statutes after May 1st, 2002. So you can, for this citation here, you can consult Title VII of Delaware Code Annotated for this information. In this instance, an entire title of the Delaware Code is cited instead of just a page or page range. A code title may occupy an entire volume, multiple volumes, or a portion of a volume. And just a tip, consult Title VII's table of contents and or index to determine specific topics or subject areas within the code. So again, out-of-state statutes after May 1st, 2002. You'll see the citation there on the screen, and this is telling you consult Chapter 122 of Illinois Annotated Statutes to find the information. And again, a tip, consult the table of contents for the complete Illinois Code to determine which volume or volumes contain Chapter 122. So now we are looking at opinions of the United States Supreme Court. So in citing opinions of the United States Supreme Court, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The name of the case in italics followed by a comma, the full parallel citation beginning with the official citation, followed by the Supreme Court reports, followed by the lawyer's edition separated by commas, the year of decision in parentheses, and then use United States Law Week only when no U.S. Supreme Court or Law Edition's second citation is available when citing a case that has not yet been assigned a U.S. Reports volume and page number. So to find more, that's a little confusing to read, but read out loud and understand, but to find more examples and information about the U.S. Supreme Court decisions, you can go to page 23, section 1.4a in the Ohio Writing Manual. And you may already know this, but if you just Google Ohio Writing Manual, it comes up as a free PDF, and it's really easy to navigate. So again, page 23, section 1.4a, if you'd rather read this in a little more depth. So here is an example of a federal court decision from the U.S. Supreme Court. And what this citation, I have the breakdown of the elements here so you can see the year of the case and the volume. So what the citation is saying is find this 1985 U.S. Supreme Court case in volume 470 of U.S. Reports, the official reporter, or volume 105 of Supreme Court Reporter, which is West Publishing, or volume 84 of the Supreme Court Report Lawyers Editions Second, which is Lawyers Cooperative Publishing Company. Note that the page numbers are also specified. Okay, So in citations of reported Federal Circuit cases, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The name of the case in italics, followed by a comma, the citation, the circuit number written as First Circuit or Second Circuit, etc., followed by the year of the decision with no intervening space within parentheses. There's an example on the screen. And then for more information on Federal Circuit Court cases, visit page 24, section 1.4b of the Ohio Writing Manual. And then, of course, we'll do an example of the United States Circuit Court reported decisions. So you can find this 2006 reported U.S. Circuit Court case on page 1297 of volume 407 of Federal Reporter 3rd. In citations of Federal Circuit cases that are not reported, place the elements of the citations in the following order. The name of the case in italics, followed by a comma, the circuit number, the case number, again written as NO period, an electronic database citation if available, preceded by a comma, and then the date of the decision in month, day, year format. Again, for more information on how to cite U.S. Circuit Court's unreported decisions, visit page 24, section 1.4b of the Ohio Writing Manual. So here's our example for United States Circuit Court's unreported decisions. Again, the breakdown of the elements, so the date of the case, December 20th, 2007, the case number is there, decision number, and Westlaw number. So what this is saying is you can find this December 20th, 2007 unreported case numbered 06-11277 by the U.S. Fifth Circuit in the Westlaw database entry 4467580. So, in citations of reported Federal District Court cases, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The name of the case, in italics, followed by a comma. The citation, and the court of decision, so the district and state, but not division, followed by the year of decision within parentheses. For more information, and citation examples of U.S. District Courts reported decisions, visit page 25, section 1.4c of the Ohio Writing Manual. And here's our example with the breakdown of the elements. And what this citation is saying is find this 2006 U.S. District Court reported case on page 867 of volume 433 of Federal Supplement 2nd. Note the federal district of origin of the case, which was the Northern District of Ohio, which you can see right before the year. Okay. In citations of federal district court cases that are not reported, place the elements of the citation in the following order. The name of the case in italics, followed by a comma. The court of decision, district and state again, but not division. The case number, an electronic database citation if available, preceded by a comma, and the date of decision, month, day, year. And then again, for more citation examples of U.S. District Court's unreported decisions, visit page 26, section 14C. And of course, I'm going to show you an example. And what this citation says is that you can find this November 13, 1987 U.S. District Court unreported case in the Westlaw database. You'll see its number there as well, right after WL. So now we're going to talk about federal constitutions, statutes, regulations, and rules. So when citing the federal constitution, place the elements in one of the following orders, separated by commas. Name of constitution, article, section, clause, which is abbreviated as CL, or article, section, clause, name of constitution. You should note amendments to and named clauses of the Constitution are written out in words and capitalized. And then for more examples on how to cite federal Constitution, statutes, regulations, and rules, visit page 40, section 2.2. So here's an example. This is a citation to Article 2, Section 1, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution, which I just put a little picture up there of what that is exactly, but that's a way to cite the federal Constitution. And then I wanted to show you the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, Section 3. So this is, again, citation to Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution here. So those are pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Just follow the layout that I mentioned earlier to cite those. And then to cite the United States Code, place the elements of the citation in the following order: the title number, USC, and the section number. And then if you want more citation examples, visit page 43, section 3.3. And then here is an example of a citation. So this is the citation to the title/chapter 2400 of the U.S. Code. And it's an example of citation to a federal statute here. Okay, so now we're to the second part of the video where we're going to talk about a couple secondary sources. So I'm just going to jump right in there. So first we're going to talk about restatements. So when you're citing a restatement, place the elements of the citation in the following order: the volume number if the restatement has more than one volume, the phrase restatement of the law or restatement of the law second, etc., followed by a comma, the title of the restatement, contracts, torts, agency, etc., followed by a comma, the section number if desired, preceded by the word section, the year within parentheses. So here's our example. And we did the breakdown of elements here, and this is a citation for Volume 1 of Restatement of the Law, 3rd Series, Foreign Relations, Section 111. The material has a publication date of 1986. So that is a restatement citation there. So when citing a text, a treatise, or dictionary, you generally refer to the most recent edition and place the elements of the citation in the following order: the volume number if the source has more than one volume, the last name or full name of the author of the source if one is named, followed by a comma, the title of the source in italics, followed by a comma, the section number if desired, preceded by the word section, the page number if desired, preceded by a comma, the year within parentheses. If the volume is later than a first edition, include the number inside parentheses before the year. So you can see the example there, they did second edition, period 2009. And then I'm going to show you two examples. So this first one, this is a citation for Volume 1 of Ohio Jury Instructions, Section 5.10 at subsection 44, and then 1997 is the publication date. And then the next one is Black's Law Dictionary. This is a citation for page 101 of Black's Law Dictionary, the 8th edition, which has a 2004 publication date. So when citing a law review article, place the elements of the citation in the following order: the last name or full name of the author or authors, including student authors, followed by a comma, the title of the article in italics, followed by a comma, the volume number of the law review, the name of the law review using Westlaw's or Lexis's abbreviations, the page number, and the year within parentheses. Then here's our example of a law review. So this is a citation to pages 371 and 373 of a 1982 article by Huffstedler entitled "Is America Over-Lawyered?" that can be found in volume 31 of Cleveland State Law Review. And then finally, a full internet citation includes the author, which can be human or institutional, sponsor, or owner of the website, followed by a comma, the title in italics, followed by a comma, the date of publication in parentheses, the URL, and then in parentheses the date accessed or date updated. And then here is our example. This is a citation to an article published by the Ohio Lawyers Assistance Program entitled "Signs and Symptoms of Chemical Dependency." Additional information provided is the specific DOJ number for finding purposes, and the date of access by the user. So that's kind of a quick overview of a number of out-of-state citations and secondary source citations you might be using. Again, make sure to look at the Ohio Writing Manual, which is freely available online for you. And then feel free to contact the library. I have all our contact information up on the screen with any questions you might have, and we will try our hardest to help you with this. So thank you.